Okay, so I'm going to call this workout Getting Back on Track because we were off over the Labor Day weekend. So what do? I put on a weight vest. So I have my weight vest on, and that's a great way to start getting warmed up and for your body to feel the weight load. So even if I step up here and I step down here and then I walk around and I do it again repeatedly, I have a weight load. Now, those of you who don't have a weight vest, then what you're going to want to do is pick up about a 10-pound, 9 or 10 pounds, put it right here on your shoulders. And when you put it on your shoulders, you have to be very mindful of keeping your knees soft, not necessarily bent, your knees soft, your rib cage up, shoulders down. And then you bring that chin right into line. So you don't tilt your head, you just pull your chin in. See how I went up and down? So I'm stepping on my little pillow. I'm going around, and I have this weight load coming down through my frame by simply putting this weight on my shoulders. And you just hang on to it there so it doesn't slip off. And then every time you step, you say to yourself, rib cage up, tummy in, knees soft. You just keep saying that. And then you try to alternate the leg that you step with, whichever way you go. We're just warming up. This is getting back on track. And one of the best ways I know is seriously to do some carries. So we're doing a form of a carry because I have these weights on my shoulders to show you how to put your weight so that it will go central right down through the spine. But if you don't have, I want you to put your weights on your shoulders if you don't have a weight vest. I have a weight vest on. I was just showing you that you can do the very same load effect by, in fact, putting your weights on your shoulders. So every time I come up and over there, what am I supposed to say? Because we get sloppy really quickly. Soft knees, don't walk your knees. Tighten your tummy, up and back over. Go one way or the other, doesn't matter. If you're hanging on to your weights, got your arms up here, take a big breath, bring it around. And now we're going to just step, curl, and then we're going to step, curl. So you've got your weights on your shoulders. I'll do it again just so that those of you who are joining me, either on the recording YouTube thing or you're just coming on. See, I'm looking to see how many slugs remembered that we're working out this morning. I know it's a busy time of year, but I want to encourage you to just make this one little hour that you're going to go through all your joint actions. Keep your tummy tight. So I'm doing repeated stepping. My knee is soft. My weight load is coming right down through my frame. I do that really quick little curl, and I'm stepping on a pillow. If you don't feel like stepping on a pillow because you feel a little, I don't know, maybe you're not quite with it yet, don't step on the pillow. That's going to make it much more challenging. Okay, so all I'm doing is stepping back, curling just a little. Don't lean in because you've got a weight load coming down your shoulders. Take a breath, keep your tummy tight, keep your shoulders down, the rib cage up. Every time you do that little curl, keep your knees soft. There we go. I got a couple more. But if you've kept the weight coming centrally down on your frame, you're starting to breathe just a little deeper right now, which is perfect. That's what we want. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Yeah, just like that. Couple more. Hang on, hang on, hang on. And one more. Okay, now take your weights, bring them right here. And remember, I had you start with heavier weights this morning, right? So I'm going to go knee up, knee up. I'm going to hang on to these weights right here. But what I'm really going to encourage you to do is as you're shifting your weight, don't go so stinking fast, okay? Go a little slower. Drop your shoulders. Bring your chin in. Shift and soften your knee. Shift. Now soften your knee. Bring that knee up. So some of these moves that typically are done with no weights in our hands for a warm-up, when you're trying to give your body a weight load recognition, when you put it in your hands, like I'm doing right now, I'm not lifting with my arms, so I'm not going to hurt my elbow, I'm not going to hurt my shoulder, but it's a weight load, okay? So whether you have it in your hands or whether you have it up here, your body is having to work a lot harder, is the point. Take a breath, breath, breath. Hi, everybody coming on. We're getting warmed up with a weight vest and or weights on our shoulders. Now we've gone down to them by our side. We're not necessarily lifting them, we're carrying them. So the carry is one of the moves that's being suggested by fitness experts, medical doctors, all over the place to help seniors. That would be, seniors are experienced slugs. So that's what a senior is. That's the definition. An experienced slug. Okay, so carrying something like this is a great way to get warmed up and to give your body that weight loading that is so necessary for osteoporosis prevention. Some of you, and I know Kathy's counting right now. Yes, I'm trying to get to 30, Kathy. I think we're almost there with this knee up thing. I'm sure she'll let us know. Take your breath. Breath, breath, breath. Breath, breath, breath. Just hang on to it. Now I'm going to walk backward. Okay, and I'm going to walk forward. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to slow it down. And I am doing a carry, even in the warm-up, as we usher into the strength work. All I'm doing is 1, 2, 3 steps. That's it. Then I'm going to go back, back, and back. And what I want you to notice on yourself is how much are we wobbling, especially when you've got weight load. So these are both 9 pounds, see, hanging by my side, which is where most of you are, because I know there's many of you that do not have a weight vest. However, I have a weight vest on, and I'm doing the carry, okay? Which is, I'm carrying these things just to show you how to do this kind of a warm-up into a weight training session. See, it's 1, 2, 3, and then I go step, back, step, back. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's a normal step. Now, as you're doing this, really do this. Step. Now, right now, say rib cage up. You're going to notice how much you're leaning. When you take this step, say rib cage up. Soften your front knee and say rib cage up. Then you're going to go back, and every time you take a step, soften your knee and say rib cage up. You're going to see that we are perpetual leaners. I have to catch myself constantly. But the whole thing is being aware and that you correct. Because you got aches and pains, you know, you got little, and you're carrying stuff. See, I'm carrying a load right now. So when I'm doing these steps, I've got about 35 pounds in a weight vest, and this is 9 and this is 9. So you can add that up. See, when your joints and your muscles feel this weight load, they have to change. They have to say, whoa, what is this girl doing to us? They have to start retooling when you're doing a simple thing like what we're doing right now, but you're persistent. See, I didn't just put it down when my muscles started saying, oh, I'm tired, I'm tired. No. I kept going, all right? And I'm trying my best not to wobble. And the biggest thing is when you take a step, soften your knee. Now say rib cage up before you take the next step. Rib cage up, shoulders down. Step, soften the knee, say rib cage up, shoulders down. See that? So 3 steps. You can help correct some really, really pronounced postural faux pas. I call it a postural faux pas. It happens with seniors, and I gave you the definition of a senior, right? We are experienced slugs. So see, we don't even know that we're getting into that leaning. We're so experienced that we can just lean and we say, oh, I'm not leaning. And yes, you are. So say rib cage up. The minute you say rib cage up and you're doing a carry like we're doing right now, you will see just how much you are leaning, okay? So a step and a step and a step. 2 more. Here we go. 2 more passes. Rib cage up. So before you take that next step, pause and say rib cage up. So you might as well do it in this class because I'm doing it. Okay? When we're walking around and we're trying to get things done and we're trying to carry things, we don't stop and correct those postural faux pas that I talked about. And then we get ourselves in trouble from functioning in a poor postural bent. Okay? So I'm going to put these down now. All right? Right there. Okay? Shake out my hands. Yeah. Here's my little pad. I'm going to use the pad today. I am going to use my chair. And so right now I'm going to do a full body load. Now this you can't do with your weights. But if you have a weight vest, wow, this will really push you up there. So I'm going to do a weight load. Then I'm going to use my tea towel to do a little recovery, okay? So here I am. I'm going to put my hands on the chair. I'm going to step back, step back, step back. I'm going to drop my butt. until I can feel really good stretching going on. My shoulders are down. I am not locking my elbows. Then I'm going to push my butt, and I'm going to go way up and down, and then I'm going to go into a high plank. So this is one of the first prone lifts or carries or tasks that I'm asking you to do with a full body pressure. All right, here we go. I'm hanging on. I'm going to bring one knee up, push it back. This is not done fast. You want to keep your butt down. So you're doing exactly a plank. Do not lock your elbows. Keep your elbows soft. 1, back, 2, back, 3, back, 4, back. We're going to do one more. Okay, now full body load. You're on your toes. Keep your chin tucked. Soften your elbows. Take a breath. Now let your hips drop. Let them drop. Yeah. Soften your elbows again. Don't lock them. Big breath. Big breath. Here we go. Swing it back. Step in, step in, step in. So that's one full body load. Then we're going to turn around. Same chair. Before I go into the second full body load from the chair, which puts us in a prone, more of a prone position, but it's modified because I'm using the chair. Now, if I was somebody who was recovering from, let's say, a wrist problem, like Kay. I don't know if Kay's on yet. I haven't seen. Anyway, so that will be hard for her to do. But you know what? If she went up to the wall, put her good hand there, and just leaned against the wall, she could do that just hanging out with the other one. See that? So you do the wall like the chair. So before we do our task here, I'm going to go down and turn with my knees very bent. They're not just soft, they're bent. But here's the deal. I am not leaning in. I have a weight vest on, okay? I'm going to pull my tummy in, really bend with my butt pushing back just a little, and then I turn. See? And then I turn. So this is a great recovery move if you don't bend forward too much. See how I'm turning gently, turning gently, turning gently. Take a breath. Take a breath. Keep your knees soft, tight tummy. See, I'm not overdoing the shoulders. I'm just using them to facilitate what's called a transverse move for your spine, for your core, for your shoulders, for your knees, for your hips. It doesn't have to be this huge, move that's gonna, hurt you or something. No, this is a very good interset. This is a recovery interset that we're doing right now. Okay, so that was my T-towel pull. I'm going to bring it right here. I'm going to go this way and this way. See that? This way and this way. Like that and like that. Keep your shoulders down. And how many of you let your tummy go right now? Oh, I caught you. Tummy in, knees soft, and just go side to side. This is a great recovery move, okay? So these are rotationals. We're doing rotationals in a little different way. Now I'm going to go ahead and sit down right here, okay? So I'm going to do all the back moves that we're going to do with weights here in just a little bit, okay? So I still have a weight vest on. So if you have a weight vest and you move in like this, that is some of the best work for your back extensors if you're lined up. So the ears over the shoulders over the hip. Now when I go forward, see, I stay in that line. So when I do go forward, I'm getting a nice little stretch. Gentle through my back, through my gluteal, all the way into the groin almost. See? So I turn one way, then I come back up, straight on, go down, then turn, come straight on, come back. So you don't turn while you're going down. You're straight on, you come forward, then you turn until you feel this stretch right here in the groin. This is an invaluable move, and it's one that we could do through the day. Every time you're sitting down, you could do this, okay? So here I'm going to go forward, tail light shining. After I bend forward and I'm lined up, then I'm going to turn, and I'm going to push until I feel the stretch in the groin, okay? So when you have hip or back issues, a lot of times you will feel, especially with hip, you'll feel groin tenderness, okay? It gets very tight. So take a big breath. So let's pretend I have weights. I'm going to go forward, and I'm going to push those back. Then I'm going to put them down, and I'm going to do a fly. It's called a fly, and pull back, okay? Here, and I'm not going to go way out. I'm going to pull it in, and then I'm going to push it back, okay? So I'm not going to go way out with weights, okay? It's a good move, but we're going to be real careful with what we're doing with our movement patterns. Getting back on track, that's what this one's called, okay? So I'm going to come back. So I have a weight vest on, but what you need to know is that anytime you're sitting in a chair and you lean in, see that? The joints in the vertebrae in the neck, thoracic vertebrae, lumbar vertebrae, you can be very stressful on it, or you can give it a very positive weight load. So that's a positive weight load bending forward. So my legs are open, tummy's in, shoulders are down, keep my chin tucked. I'm going to bend forward from my hip as far as I can. I'm going to hang out there, and then I'm going to come back. Okay? So we're going to do some carries today where we're going to have our weights right here. And I'm asking my back extensors to do this pull. Now, if you stay gentle with your weight and you really are careful about your positioning, this is what is necessary to keep your back extensors strong, whether or not you have bulging discs. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to come up, take a breath, and push into my heels and lift, and then come down. So why am I doing it this way? Because I'm trying to help you with your mechanics in standing up at the same time, pushing through and working my upper body strength load. Because if I come here and I don't use my legs, but I push on the chair seat. So if I come here, lean in, and then you push, and you don't really push hard on your feet. See, I'm not using my quads right now that much, right? Because I want to put it on my arms, okay? Because we're going to follow this kind of body weight loading with a weight that we're going to hold in our hands in just a second. All right, so I've got my feet here. I'm going to push into my heels. I'm not going to put pressure on my quads, which is what we usually do in this position, right? Well, we're doing a little different today. Bring your elbows in. That's number one. Take a breath. Line yourself up, rib cage up. That's very important. Now push into the heel of the hands and act like you're lifting yourself up and you can't use your legs. See, that's what I want you to do, is don't act like you can't use your legs. Keep your elbows in, push, come back down, heels, push, come back down, heels, push, come back down, breath, push, come back down, breath, push, don't use your legs. Push yourself up with your arms, keeping your elbows in. And don't crane your neck out like this. This is what we typically want to do because we're very experienced at sluggery. Okay? Elbows in, up, and back down. Push into the heel of your hand. Keep your elbows in and let yourself up and down. So I'm really pushing into the heel, but I'm not using my knee, my quads, or anything. It's really my arm. Push, breath, push, breath, push, breath. Just a couple more. I know, just a couple more. Push, push really hard. Don't use your legs. Don't use your legs. Don't use your legs. Breath, breath. 3 more, just 3 more. Keep your elbows in. Elbows in, elbows in. Good. Take a big breath. Okay. Then we're going to have our weights and we're going to push back. So just practice it. See this? Lean in, keep your chin tucked, rib cage up, push back, push back, push back. So when you're in an acute phase of an injury, especially a back injury, it's like you don't want to move. And seriously, they've changed their diagnoses of recovering. They want you to move because the more you don't move, the more muscle and bone and the more you lose. So you want to move gently if you can. Okay? Now, I've got a weight vest on. I'm going to now use my legs. Okay? It's okay if you don't have it. If you want to put some load on, I would get the weights again, and I would just hold them really close right here because that's going to give you the weight in your frame. Sure, you could put them here, but just hold them right here, okay? Then you go forward, you push hard into your heels, and then you press, and then act like you're going to stand up, but then don't. And then come down and just touch down and then come back into it. Touch down and come back into it. Touch down. Try not to rock. See, I want to really push into my heels. I want to really stick my butt back. I'm going to get those quads now working because I'm not using my hands. Breath. Breath. So you act like you're going to get up, but you don't. So you just come right up to there and back down, right to there and back down, right to there and back down. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Keep it going. I think I did not do a little thing here. Ooh, there. I hope that's going to work okay. 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 So I still have the weight vest on, but now I'm going to take it off because we're going to start lifting with our arms now. So I'm going to take this off so you can kind of see that it's heavy. All right. I'm going to put it right there. And I'm going to come right down here. I'm going to grab my weights. So this time I'm going to push it to 12. And you're going to say, what do you mean, Jeannie? We're just getting back on track. And then I would make 2 points. Point 1, you should have done the recording, right? Point 2, I know you didn't probably do the recording, so I'm doing variations on what's called carries. That's one of the best ways I know to jumpstart your muscles, your bones, and get them knowing that they can get stronger. See, they got to know they can get stronger. They aren't going to know that if you pick up a 2-pound weight, okay? So I went ahead and pushed my weights up, and now I've got 12 pounds here, okay? So we started this session with 9 pounds. I had 9 pounds in my hand. You, of course, pick up what is heavy for you. That's always the way it's going to be. Everybody has a different situation. So now I'm going to recap. I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to end up back in the kitchen chair doing some of the things I told you we were going to be doing, okay? So I step, see that? And then I come back down. These are just by my side. In fact, they're 12 pounds each. I'm hanging them off my fingertips because to grip that long really gets tiresome. So I'm stepping. Whether you leave your foot off the ground or not, it doesn't matter because this is a carry, okay? And I can carry by my side like this, or I can bring them up and put them right here, which sometimes feels better to some people. See, I'm going to come up. I may not even bring my back leg off the ground. That's okay. Drop your shoulders, soften your knees, step. Whether or not you bring it up or not, doesn't matter, okay? Of course, bringing it up is going to be more of a balance maneuver, but if you've got a pretty heavy weight on your shoulders or you're carrying them down by your side, it's going to throw you quickly if you step into a non-compliant surface, which is a pillow. That's just a big terminology for step on a pillow or a disc, okay? It's non-compliant. So what's compliant? Cement. Stepping on a cement floor, that's pretty non-compliant, okay? So when I step, I drop my shoulders, I pull my belly button in. Whether or not I bring my leg all the way up or not, I keep priming. What am I doing with my posture? Am I leaning? Okay? And if you'll say rib cage up every time you put your foot on that pillow or disc or non-compliant surface, you're not going to lean nearly as much. Okay? Rib cage up. Keep your tummy super tight. So what I'm doing is I'm doing variations on carries. There's more than one way to do a carry. This is one of the ways. Now you could have these beside your hanging down in a straight arm. Okay. I just put them up on my shoulder for right now. Breath. I'm going to do one more. Take a breath. I meant one more on each leg, Kathy. She's screaming at me. Okay, now you can keep them here, or you can bring them down, but I'll encourage you to hang on to them, because in fact, we're going to put that foot in front of us in a split stance. Some would say, oh, that's a lunge. And I'm like, well, it can go into a lunge, depending on your positioning, but I don't want you to go very wide. What I do want you to do is bend your back foot. See how I'm going from my whole foot to just my toe by lifting my heel. I have my front leg on my pillow, and I'm just bending that knee a little. And I'm doing this against my own body weight plus 24 pounds, because I got 12 pounds here, I got 12 pounds here. Now, right this minute, some of you are going like this. Say rib cage up. Yeah, drop your shoulders. Now, roll into the ball of the foot. Now you drop as far as you can. Now, you're going to hang out down there for just a second. Okay? Maybe 2 or 3 seconds. And you see what I'm doing? I'm doing little tiny pulses. A pulse is different than a bounce. This is not a bounce. This is a pulse. It's in control. Say rib cage up. Take a breath. Drop your shoulders. Rib cage up. Just a couple more. Stay with me. 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 And come back. Yeah. Somebody's ringing my doorbell. Okay, take a breath. Put the other foot up and get ready to go. Okay? Come on in. I'm in the middle of class.
Okay.
So you want to come right here and do it with me? Sharon's coming in. So you don't have to do it on, you just do it on the floor. This is Bob's sister. She said she was going to come
in.
Hi. Okay, so we're doing the other part. So just stand here just like this. Okay. Just step right out like you're going to take a step and walk. Now say rib cage up. Say rib cage up. Rib cage. Rib cage up. Now roll your
boobs out.
Roll your back foot and bend your back knee and come down just a little. Say rib cage up. Don't look back. Don't look down. Oh. Bend your back knee.
RBC.
Bend your back knee. Take a breath. Bend your back knee. Take a breath. Bend your back knee. Take a breath. Say rib cage up.
RBC.
Breath. Rib cage up.
RBU.
Keep the knee coming down. In the back. In the back. Breath. Hang on, you guys. Couple more. And just remember, I got 12 pounds in one hand, 12 pounds in another. Or you can do your own body weight like Sharon's doing. Breath, breath, breath. 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. Stay with me. Now stay down and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hang on. Hang on. Breath, rib cage up. Rib cage up. And come back. Nice. Okay. Now, you're going to turn this way. And I'm going to get Sharon a chair right there. So you're going to sit right here. Okay. So she is going to do this with a 5-pound weight. Okay. All right. And I'm going to do it with 12 pounds. Okay. So we're right here. Where you keep our shoulders down. And remember, I already reviewed this with you, right? So we're going to hinge forward at our hip hinge. So whenever that we come right here, so sit kind of to the edge of your chair. Yeah, and say rib cage up. There you go. Now, when you hip hinge, you're going to like shine your tail lights. Perfect. And then come back. That's a hip hinge. So if you guys out there with me will remember to do this move, and the minute you start to go forward, the shoulders drop and you say rib cage up, your chin will automatically go in so that it will help us quit doing this as we walk around all day because you hate it and you don't want to do it. So I'm saying if you don't want to do it, then you got to change your postural lineup. So if you'll get the hip hinge and as you lean in, you start pushing a little bit into the heels because you want to shine your tail lights. So now you're going to hold yourself there and you're going to take this weight and you're going to let your back, you're going to let your hips, you're going to let everything feel the weight load and you're going to come right down here and you're going to go pull. Okay, now look at my elbows. Bring them back down. Okay, turn your elbows in. There. Now when you come up, Yeah, the elbows go back, but we don't poke our head out, right? So we're hip hinging. The more you come forward, the more of a pull it's going to go into your middle thoracic vertebrae area, because your arms, keep your elbows in and go back. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. Let's let them hold here. Lean in, let them go down. Now stay there. Say rib cage up.
Cage up.
And pull the elbows in. Keep my chin tucked. Okay, don't worry about your hands. Think about your elbows going back. Yes. And come back down. Elbows going back. Come back in. Pull your head. Great. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Keep going. Breath. Okay, stay in. Stay in a hip hinge. Stay forward. Breath. Breath. Then bring them back up. And you're right here. And then all you're going to do, drop your shoulders. And you're going to bring this and you're going to tap right there. And you bring it down. But you're not going to rest it.
Okay.
See? See, she was really good. She was going to go right into that rest mode, see? But I called her on it. So we're going to hold them here. And we're going to go 1, tap, 2, tap. And we're going to say rib cage up. Breath. Breath. And every time you do a cycle, which is one hand and the other hand, you say rib cage up.
Rib
Cage up. Rib cage up.
Cage up.
Breath.
Breath.
And if you lean anywhere,
Rib cage up.
you're going to lean through your hip one at a time. 1. Nope. Stay straight. Hinge forward if you do anything. Here and then here. Good. Here and then here. Breath. 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 Breath.
Rib cage up.
Breath. 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 And breath. And bring them right here again. Now you're going to take the shoulders and go all the way to your ears. Okay? Now it's really tempting to bend your elbows and to try to muscle this up with your arms. I don't want that because I want you to use your shoulder girdle. So I want to go pull and then come back down. So whenever that we're doing this, especially seated like this, I want you to be leaning in just a tiny bit. See with my hip hinge? Because put your heels down if you can. Can you put your heels down? Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. So lean in. And then when I come up and I drop them, see I can come back. Then I lean forward again. But I say rib cage up. So my back extensors are really working because I've got 24 pounds that I'm managing. She's got 10, okay? So your posture, your positioning is real important here because now I can bring those shoulders up here and then control the move down, come forward, pull back, lift, control the move down, come forward, lift back, and I keep saying rib cage up. Every time before I'm going to go forward, I say rib cage up because I want to rotate through the hip. I want to be able to run my hand right down your spine and feel a really good extension on your vertebrae. So I lean in, I come back, I go pull, and before I go forward, what do I say?
Rib cage up.
Rib cage up, and then I don't hold my breath. Because if I hold my breath during this whole thing, what happens? You turn blue. It's not a good look. And come back down.
It's not my color.
Come forward and come back and go up and come down and come forward and come back. Now I'm going to change the trajectory of the weight load, okay? But before I do that, I'm going to take a big deep breath. I'm going to bring the weights and I'm going to lean them right on my little shoulders, see? Just like that. So you just put them right there and just hang on to them in the front. So she's got 5 and 5. I got 12 and 12. Okay? Take a big deep breath. Yes. Now you're going to see a difference because we're going to do that same hip hinge. All right? But before I even think about going forward, I'm going to think about two things. I'm going to think about what do I have to do to shine my taillights and what I have to do to elongate my spine. I have to say rib cage up. I say rib cage up, and then I lean in. And when I go back, whoa, do I feel my back extensors? Okay, so take a breath. Say rib cage up.
Rib cage up.
Lean in from the hip hinge, shine your taillights, and then come back. The point is, y'all, if you've got a back issue, if you will stay in a good postural lineup, you are going to give positive pressure to those back extensors. If you round your back as you're coming in, which is what most of us do if we don't understand the hip hinge, okay? So before we come in, we say rib cage up, we make sure we're hip hinging, then we come back, and I'll guarantee you, you should be able to feel your back extensors, especially if you have even 5, 10 pounds that you're pulling, okay? Then you come back. And if you can do this gentle motion and get to where you're strong enough to handle this in 3 sets of 10, okay? Then you're going to be way ahead of the game for osteoporosis prevention, but strength, being able to stand up, okay? So now we're going to go back to our arm thing. So before, we were right here, and we were doing a shoulder girdle lift, right? And then we were doing a shoulder girdle lift because my elbows are going to go in. Look at my weights. Yeah, put them right there. Now bring them down, all right? So this is a whole different thing. If I come here and just bring my elbows back and come back down, I should be able to, when you're up here like this, feel your shoulder blades coming together, like if you're going to hold a pencil, and then you open and come back down. This is one of my favorite moves for people that have shoulder issues because it's going to strengthen you. And the more parallel that you get to the floor, the more across the back it's going to pull. So you see how I'm hip hinged forward? So the more you do that, and then you pull those back, and you feel it right in between. Yeah, there you go. That was good. Now bring those elbows in and pull back. There you go. And come down and pull back. And keep your chin tucked. Pull back. And now we're going to do the opposite thing. We're going to pull back. We're going to hold on here, and then we're going to act like we're trying to hit something behind us. And then we bring it right back in. And then we're going to hit something behind us. And come back in. Breath, push back. And come back in. Push back. And when you're all the way open, you're going to contract the upper arm muscles. Why do you want to do that? Because when you wave, you don't want to hit yourself in the face with your arm under there. This is the one. So you bring it in here. You're pulling it in here. Then you're going to act like you're going to hit something back there. Then you come back in. And the more you hip hinge, the more you're going to hit the back of that arm. And come back in. Now hip hinge and push back. And hip hinge and push back. And contract that muscle back there. And you should be able to feel that. Push and come back. And 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 then hold it open and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Put them right down. And go like this. Give yourself a big hug. Woo! Okay. Now step wide. You put your hands here. I'm going to turn and I'm going to look over my shoulder. I'm going to use my opposite hand, whichever way you're going. Nope. You keep it right there. So look there and push yourself even more and try to look behind you. And so you want to try to look all the way behind you.
Mm.
And you should feel super, super great stretches right here. Shoulders down, rib cage up. And keep looking, and you're pushing against your leg to really push you on around. Kind of like you're opening a jar. And you come back, come center first.
Oh.
So take a big breath. Say rib cage up.
Rib cage up.
I'm going to look over this shoulder. You're going to look over that shoulder, and you're going to push. You're going to push yourself. And you're going to look over that shoulder. And you just keep pushing and looking, pushing and looking, pushing and looking, pushing and looking. And then you come back. Okay? Take a big deep breath. I'm going to bring these over here so we don't trip on them. Push this here. I'm going to let Sharon experience the non-compliant surface. So go ahead and stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to go ahead and hang on to your weights. I'm just giving you 5. And so I have another one here. Who would have thought?
Probably have 10 of them.
4. Okay. So when you step up on that, just hold these down. Don't move them. Just step up and then step back down. Okay. And step up and step back down. And step up and step back down. So each time you rotate, right? You step up, up, down, down. And you rotate. Which lead leg starts? Okay?
Down,
So every time you step up, what do you say?
Up.
Tummy in, rib cage up. And down, down. And then you switch. So it's an up, up, down, down. And then switch. And down, down. Now here, let me put a little wrinkle in here. When you step up this time, remember I'm capitalizing today on carries. This is getting back on track today. That's what it's going to say with Sharon. When I step up, I'm going to tighten my gluteals right now before I step back down. So there's so many times somebody goes through an injury, they've pulled their back, maybe they did too much one day, maybe they just are kind of out of sorts and they just go, I just can't do anything. And I would ask you, can you walk to the toilet? If you can walk to the toilet, you can do what we're doing right now. And it will help you get better quicker. So when I step up, I'm going to squeeze my butt, just like I want to crack some pecans on my rear end. Okay? That was a joke.
Oh,
That was a Southern joke.
okay.
Step up. Now squeeze your butt really tight. Drop your shoulders. So see, I'm not using my arms other than just hanging onto this weight. And I'm changing every time. And if I'm telling you, if you did this for 30 steps, and every single time you squeezed your butt, you said rib cage up, that would be huge amount of positive, really good work that you're able to do and not hurt yourself. So one of the reasons so many of us hurt ourselves in lifting things and so forth is because we have adapted very poor postural movement patterns. So take the time to do something like this kind of a carry. And if you have appreciable weight, like I could be doing this with my weight vest and these weights, okay, that means I'm pushing against almost 75 pounds, right? And I just switch every time. And every time I come up, I squeeze my gluteals. Act like somebody's coming at you with a shot right in your butt. And you will tighten up. So a lot of people will go, how do I tighten up my gluteals? And that's what I tell them. Act like you're going to get a shot. And then come back down. And it's a constant carry. And if you are stepping onto a non-compliant surface like this pad, it will just catapult you into better posture because you're fighting against balancing. Okay, now that we've done repeated stepping and squeezing, I'm going to keep my weights here, but now I'm going to pull them. I'm going to rest them on my shoulders again. I'm going to hang on to them. Now, let me warn you, if you do this next move and you have your weights right here, see, I have them on my shoulder. I'm going to shift. I have to bend my knee, but when you pull your other leg up, you might lose balance. Figure out what you need to do. And if that is not what you should do right now because you're not by a wall or a bed or something that you can lean into in case you do lose balance, you have to plan for that. Anytime you're going to do balance work with weights, you got to plan for what if I lose my balance. Now I can tell you something. Those of you who are doing this and you're saying, "Oh, no problem, no problem." If I put one more little thing in here, so when I shift, I soften my knee. I say rib cage up. I bring the leg up. I count 1, 2, 3, bring it down. Okay, if I put one more thing in here, like shut one eye.
Oh.
If you shut one eye and try to hold 1, 2, 3, you are going to lose balance. And if you step wrong, you're going to fall. So I'm just telling you how to prep. I'm using real life scenarios here to help you understand that your balance needs work and it needs specific work. And we're doing it today with what I call carries. Okay? I'm putting it either in my hands or I'm putting it on my frame to my shoulder, and I'm really pushing the balance boundaries, and my frame is taking on my weight load that maybe you didn't do last week, okay? And if you didn't do it, then you got to enter back into it a little more gently. So instead of doing a ton of like single lifts, I chose carrying, which is this. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put these down. And I'll put Sharon's down. And now as we're ending off, I'm going to go through our very good lineup. Okay, and I'm asking Sharon, many of you out there, and there's so many people that have donated to Bob's Memorial Fund that aren't on today, but if they pull this up, maybe they'll hear some of this. You can just talk normal. This is Sharon Weaver Pittman. So you're going to take your hands like this, and you're going to make a W. I'll stand up here. A W. See like that? Yep. So anything I do, you do, but just go ahead. She's going to let everybody know while we're ending this up. See, I go from a W to a T to a turn, back into a W, turn. So just by that one movement, with my hands up, into a T, into a turn, into a W, into a T, into a turn, and I say ribcage up, and I soften my knees, and I keep my chin tucked. Sharon's gonna give all of y'all a quick update of what has been happening with Bob's, the funds we collected for his memorial, his project, the Malawi. This is the Vice Chancellor of Malawi Adventist University in Malawi, Africa.
Thank you.
So what have you done, Sharon?
Thank you. We have been successful at finishing 120 room dormitory for our men. And that's been so exciting because that's a project. Our men have been living in a fire trap at our boys' dorm at the university. So 120 Malawi students now are going to come back to a wonderful, safe, and brand new environment. And so we're very excited about the funds that we've raised. We also have other projects that we're working on to create science lab equipment for our Malamulu College of Health Sciences. And we have other projects that Bob was excited about for doing the university and building our capacity. Our university has 1,500 students, and we train half of the healthcare workers for our whole country. So our university is really important in the development of Malawi as one of the poorer nations of the world. And so Bob's love for the Malawi people and for the people of Africa, thank you so much for your donations, because it's made a huge difference in the lives of our students.
Sit down right there. So I hope you were able to hear her. I didn't know it was that many students, 1,500 students. And
Yeah.
you train half in healthcare.
Half of all the healthcare workers in Malawi.
I'm going to go ahead and take my recording off now.
Ladies, you did a really great